Ukraine has long played an important yet sometimes overlooked role in the global security order. Today, the country is on the front lines of a renewed great power rivalry that many analysts say will dominate international relations in the decades ahead. As the war in Ukraine goes on, there is a looming threat that Russia might dish the International Space Station, a football field-sized satellite that currently houses several astronauts, and allow it to crash into Earth. Want to know about it? Well, stay tuned to the video and watch the video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to Bezos Space. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications to get new updates about Jeff Bezos. Hit the like button to show your support, and in today's video, we're going to discuss Jeff Bezos just revealed why the war in Ukraine is a huge problem for space exploration. So without any further ado, let's begin. The conflict in Ukraine has highlighted how indispensable space and space applications are to modern life and modern warfare. Russia controls critical aspects of the space station's propulsion control systems. While the ISS is in orbit, Earth's gravity gradually pulls it towards the atmosphere, so the space station typically uses a propulsion module which is controlled by Russia to keep it in place. The Russian invasion is not the only impending issue to have detrimental impacts on space cooperation. Ongoing multilateral efforts to address growing threats from Russia to space security have been derailed. Russia has recently threatened to leave the ISS program over US sanctions. The US has put additional sanctions in place in response to Russia's movement into Ukraine, reigniting the conversation over whether Russia might leave the space station program now. However, NASA has said that at this time the ISS partners continue to work together and cooperate. NASA continues working with the state space corporation Roscosmos and our other international partners in Canada, Europe, and Japan to maintain safe and continuous international space station. NASA spokesperson Dan Hewitt told Space.com in an email. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos was one of the first billionaires to jump into the commercial space race, starting Blue Origin in 2000. Compared with industry rivals, it has a reputation for being far more guarded about its activities. The company has suffered setbacks after several failed launches and problems with its BE-4 engine, and since 2016, Bezos has sold $1 billion of his Amazon stock every year to keep the company flying. Like rival SpaceX, its goal is to drive down the cost of space travel by building reusable rockets. In the past, rockets have been discarded after just one launch. Gaining momentum, Blue Origin is now securing lucrative government contracts and recently gained national security certifications from the US government. Over the past few months, commercial spaceflight has launched into overdrive as companies like Axiom plan crewed missions to the International Space Station, SpaceX won NASA's Human Landing System (HLS) contract to build a moon lander, and Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic successfully completed crewed suborbital flights with the company's respective billionaire founders on board. SpaceX has been quick to deliver Starlink terminals to Ukraine to alleviate internet outages caused as a result of the Russian attacks. SpaceX satellites are providing internet access in Ukraine. Despite the outbreak of war, there is still a glimmer of hope that cooperation will persist in space. Despite strained relations and sanctions, the Russian Space Agency continues to work with its counterparts in the operation of the ISS. In over 65 years of space exploration, Russian cosmonauts have flown on American spacecraft, while astronauts from the US and other countries have relied on Russian spacecraft to access space. There is no indication that this mutually beneficial relationship will cease. Despite the war, NASA has tried to keep up the appearance of normalcy aboard the ISS. The agency has posted updates about science experiments happening aboard the space station and even put a press conference promoting the first privately crewed mission to the ISS. But behind the scenes, the US is racing to figure out what an ISS without Russia might look like. One company, Northrop Grumman, has already volunteered to build a propulsion system that would replace Russia's, and Elon Musk has suggested on Twitter that SpaceX could help too. Even if a major ISS partner does decide to withdraw from the project, the transition may take months or even years to fully disentangle. It's not a simple off switch, Siddiqui says, but unless the current political situation changes course, he doesn't see a future for US and Russian collaboration in space beyond the ISS decommissioning currently planned for 2031. NASA is already looking ahead to its ambitious Artemis program, which will partner with ESA, Japan's space agency, and the Canadian Space Agency to build an orbiting lunar outpost to support astronauts' long-term return to the moon's surface. Meanwhile, Roscosmos has pledged to join forces with China in order to build a moon base of their own. The international spaceflight seems set to grow, with the cooperation epitomized by the ISS only diminishing. Musk plans to one day send people into space on commercial flights, Earlier this year, he announced that SpaceX's first moon tourist would be Japanese billionaire Yusaku Misawa. Last year, he shared a blooper reel of failed rocket landings featuring some epic explosion footage. SpaceX has launched a Tesla car into space as part of its Falcon Heavy rocket project. But one of SpaceX's ultimate goals is to send crewed flights to Mars and eventually colonize the red planet. "I want to die on Mars," Musk has said. Just not on impact. Russia's only female cosmonaut is set to travel to the space station this fall aboard SpaceX's Dragon, the first commercial space capsule to ferry astronauts. And when NASA astronaut Mark Vande Hey is scheduled to return from the space station aboard a Russian Soyuz capsule, he'll have broken the American record for the longest direction spaceflight mission at 355 days. The ongoing station operations continue as normal, including flying a crew to the orbital outpost and returning them safely to Earth. Vic Maniscatter said, "Not only does this cooperation continue on the ISS, but on the ground. According to some experts, it's unlikely as the station was constructed with joint dependencies. It would be a huge technical challenge to continue the International Space Station without the Russian contributions," Voyager Space President Jeff Mamber stated, while adding that it would be very costly, presumably to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. Moreover, Julie Patrin-Josek, a French academic and author of a book on the ISS, pointed out that the astronauts and cosmonauts at the ISS are highly qualified professionals and unlikely to be affected by world politics that would cause a conflict on their cooperation and joint research. But most importantly, she highlighted the fact that withdrawing Russia from the ISS program would leave it without a crewed space program, and this would potentially increase its possibility of joining China on its Tiangong space station, which is still under construction. Bezos has received some serious backlash in the last month, both because he's one of the richest persons in the world and his first real public spaceflight act was to get on a ship and rocket into space for his own gratification. Author and senior space editor at Ars Technica Eric Berger told Space.com. Senator Elizabeth Warren DeMass, who ran for president in 2020, publicly criticized Bezos' Jeff Bezos can take a joyride to space while he and other billionaires have gamed the system so they pay almost zero in taxes. Warren tweeted August 18th, "Jeff Bezos can take a joyride to space while he and other billionaires have gamed the system so they can pay almost zero in taxes." NASA had previously stated that it would like to award so the Artemis program could benefit from the competition and redundancy, but that wasn't a viable option given the relatively low levels of funding Congress has allocated for the HLS work, agency officials said in the wake of the contract announcement. Instead of accepting NASA's decision, Blue Origin and Dynetics both filed protests with the U.S. Government Accountability Office, and in July, Bezos penned an open letter to NASA Administrator Bill Nelson stating why Blue Origin should have won an HLS contract and suggesting that the selection wasn't conducted properly. Now that we've come to the end of this video, I want to thank you for sticking with me, and I'd love to know what you think of it. Just comment down below. Also, if you like this video, make sure you like it and stay safe. Today's video is over, but if you want to see more, there's one on your screen right now, and there are a few more fun videos coming soon. I'll see you in the next video.